Episode 8.
Episode 8, yeah. It is indeed. Episode 8.
Second lockdown episode as well.
Yeah, it is.
Just managed to sort out the audio, didn't we?
Yeah, it actually works quite well. So
I see you've been doing a few jogging videos, mate.
a few jogging videos. Yeah, I've been trying to go for a run, kind of at least every other day. Just trying to, because it's been so nice outside as well, isn't it? So I'm just trying to make the most of the weather, but also see a little bit of the outside world, because we're all trapped inside still. I think it might be happening for quite a while longer, so just trying to enjoy the outdoors while I can.
Yeah. So I said to you before, I've started these Insanity DVDs.
Yeah.
And it's keeping me pretty fit, to be honest. But yeah, I spent the first 2-3 weeks, and I went like well below what is considered to be a general average of fitness. Like, honestly, like I actually felt so old when I was doing that first workout. I looked at my belly. I was just like, what happened? What happened to me? I was just
Where did I
like,
go wrong?
honestly, it was dangling down like some sort of like tea bag. It was just fucking horrible. But yeah, so it's the one way to cure boredom anyway.
So, alright then, so how are you coping with boredom whilst we're all locked inside? What kind of things are you doing?
To be honest, I'm doing a lot of gaming, Netflixing.
Yeah.
I seem to be non-stop cooking stuff, and the bowl just magically fills up.
When you say stuff, do you literally just mean like pasta, mince and cheese, yeah?
Do you know what?
Constantly.
It's a really good meal. It's one of my favourite meals. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, loads of flavour in there. You got like the plain pasta and then
It's literally dog
the
food.
beef and then, yeah.
It is dog food, I'm not going to
Loads
lie.
of flavours.
No, it is, honestly. I don't know what it is. Like, us Quins bloody love a bolognese, I tell you. I think it comes from my
Try
nan.
a bit of paprika or something like that. Stick a bit of paprika in there.
No,
Oh, lovely.
mate. Don't need all that.
Have you got any spices? Or like herbs?
I got bay leaves.
Baileys? Oh, bay leaves. We said Baileys.
Bit of Baileys in there. Nah, bay leaves. Bay leaves. You get them in. They're good for it's good for bolognese and stuff, but
Yeah. Oh, nice.
it's just a quick, easy meal. It's like 20 minutes,
Yeah, easy. Why not? Sounds pretty good. So you cooking, you gaming.
Cooking, gaming, exercising in the house. Yeah. To be honest with you, there's not a great deal more you can do outside of that. I said to you this morning, there's a benefits line outside my house, so I get to enjoy some of the local scummies outside, like desperate, out there clawing
Lovely.
at society. Give us this fucking money.
Of course, any listeners on benefits. There's nothing wrong with that.
Hey, no. But I'm just saying, just saying.
No, I know what you mean.
But yeah, no, you're right.
What we're doing? Trying to think. Lots of gaming. Same as you. Been playing Pokemon on Switch. Just started
Yep.
playing
Yep.
Breath of the Wild again. As well. Such a good game. Well, it's been playing FIFA. Oh, we've been playing that poker game on the PS4, haven't we?
Oh yeah, Prominence Poker.
Prominence Poker. We've been playing that with a few of us. Quite a good laugh. And just been watching so many films. Like so many films as well.
Yeah, I've been doing filming.
Ridiculous amounts of films. I
Yeah.
watched like 20 in the last 2 weeks maybe. Seriously,
Yeah,
I'm not joking.
I mean, you were a regular cinema goer, so I can guess why it's probably covering that sort of aspect for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I have to admit, I am missing the cinema quite a lot.
Did they cancel your subscription, or have they just
They've
frozen
it, yeah.
Yeah, fair
I
enough.
think they charged last month, and then after that, they've frozen it, and now credit it to your back once they open. I don't know. Some bollocks like that. Same with the gym. The gym have frozen it.
Yeah, Jim's done frozen for me as well, actually.
Which is alright.
Yeah. So I had my birthday on Tuesday, as you know.
Yeah. Happy belated birthday.
Yeah,
42, weren't you?
40? No. Yeah. So still relatively young. I won't say my age, but I feel like I'm still young. So, but yeah, it's that was difficult, to be honest, because me, I don't mind. I like going out and a bit of paintball or whatever it is down the pub, or not paintball down the pub, but paintball
down the pub.
But you know what I mean, like a night out afterwards, and
Yeah.
I spent it literally just looking out the window. You know, I had a bottle of wine actually, but yeah. Apart from that, mate, it was just a bit boring.
Yeah. Well, at least you tried to make the most of it, I guess. Had a drink and a nice meal.
What's the worst birthday gift you ever got then? On your birthday, did you ever get a gift where you just thought, "Cheers"?
There's one that springs to mind. So it was a birthday present when I was about 10 from my nan. You know, she's like, honestly, everyone says about their nan, you know, they're the loveliest nan in the world and all that stuff. But genuinely, like my dad's mum, so my nan, she was probably the best person I've ever known. Like, honestly, she was so lovely. But I remember one birthday, I think it was my 7th or 8th. Nah, maybe a little bit later actually. Maybe
Was
my
it?
10th.
Yeah.
But I got a stapler and some staples. So,
Sorry.
10-year-old Sam opening it's like a stationery set, and one of the things was, oh, this is really handy when you go to school. And open it up, and it's a stapler.
I never got that. Do you know that? Even growing up, I never understood why my parents bought me stuff for school, because kids don't want stuff for school. I got your new pencil case. It's like, well, it's my birthday. This isn't nice. This isn't a nice present. This is a fucking pencil case. I think they just did it to save money. You know? I tell you one story.
How about you then?
Well, I was really short of money growing up. Obviously, like, and you have.
Oh, I know what you're going to say. Yeah, I remember this.
And it was my mum's birthday, right?
I remember this.
And I was honestly, when I say short of money, I mean I think I had like £4 to my name. Now, in this day and age, if I had £4 to my name, I'd be out there queuing the rest of them, like I just said a minute ago. You know, give us that. But I was short of money, right? And it was my mum's birthday. I used to do an early morning shift in a warehouse, stacking boxes. Sounds fulfilling, doesn't it? But I had to go to a charity shop because I had no money. I had to go to a charity shop to find my mum's gift, right? And I think it was her 40th or something. So it was a real staple,
special day then, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a real landmark birthday, right? And I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find anything in charity shops. Bear in mind, it's sad that a kid has to go to a charity shop anyway to find his mum's gift for a 40th. And
There's nothing wrong with charity shops. But
no, I've got some good gear from there. Usually ripped, but no. I was looking everywhere, right? I was looking everywhere, and I come across this sort of. It was like a mini table, very tiny table you can hold in your hand, and it was like
a table you could hold in your hand.
It was like a mini glass table, right? And it had some embroidery in the middle, and it was gold around the edge, and it had 4 legs, and it was like transparent. And I thought,
table had 4 legs. You sure?
And, I thought it would be a good idea for maybe she want to put some candles on top of there, and it would be a nice little. Anyway, £1 it was. I thought, brilliant. Save myself 70%. So I've paid £1, right? Didn't get any wrapping with it, nothing, right? I didn't have money for a bag or a card or anything, right? So took this thing home. Mum's birthday, I did my morning shift. I was going to give it to her in the morning, right? Obviously when I got back. And honestly, Sam, I looked at it when I got back. And I was just like, this is like the paint on it was flaking. It was like weird, flaky.
Oh God!
And as I say, mate, it was just. She asked me for my gift, and I couldn't give it to her. It was that bad, and I literally stuck my hand around the corner and gave this thing to her, not wrapped, not in a bag, not in a card, nothing. And I just sort of handed her this mini table, which was sort of flaking full of paint. And
oh God!
It honestly, Sam, her face just dropped. I was like, "Oh, happy birthday!" And I was just like, "Oh my God!" Like, it was a fucking shit present. Such a shit present. Put it this way, it's that bad that she's kept it.
She's kept it.
She's kept it as a way of explaining to people this is what not to get people.
Where is it?
As like a constant reminder to me. No, it's not on display.
Oh God! Right.
She just takes it out and say, "Do you remember when you got me this?"
What was her reaction though? What did she actually say when you gave it to her?
Nothing, mate. It's just you know when you see someone's face and it's just like. She's a really nice person, so she would never say, what is this?" Like, it was just.
So how old were you?
I think 25? I was about 18. No, 17, 18. I had no money, but
I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, that was a really shit gift.
That's funny.
Outside of that, you usually get the Lynx deodorant sets for Christmas, don't you? It's like, oh, cheers.
Yeah. And the shower gel.
5th one today. Cheers. But anyway, yeah, fair enough. So there's been a few delays as well, mate. Game-wise.
There has.
So there's 2 in particular we're interested in, both separately, but both about the same sort of thing. So Last of Us 2 has been delayed again.
Yeah, I'm gutted about that. It's supposed to be, I think, towards the end of May. I think the 29th of May or something like that. 20-something of May. So next month it's supposed to be coming out. Yeah,
so they're having shipping and production issues, apparently, because of the COVID situation.
Quite ironic.
Yeah, and
considering it's a game about a virus.
Well, yeah, and it's the same for Dying Light 2, the exact same reason. So, both is Last of Us the same as Dying Light?
What do you mean?
So, Last of Us is it like about zombies and stuff?
Yeah. What's so good about it? I mean, yes, but what's so good about it as a horror survival game is that it's got elements of everything. So half of the game, you're not even fighting zombies; you're fighting like the government agents. Like that's part of the beauty of it. It doesn't just focus on the zombies. I mean, the zombies are pretty terrifying.
Yeah,
and they're obviously in most of the game, but a large sections of the game is just like you trying to be stealthy and avoid these government agents and.
Yeah, because
it's so good. It's so
loads
good.
of people online rave about this game, and I know yourself. You've tried to make me play a few times, and I just haven't got around to it. But
mate, it's so
it's
good.
A big game, apparently. Big
Massive.
Game.
Well, I mean, they're making a TV series out of it. Is that good? There's a lot of talk about who's going to play Joel, which is the main character. So one of the main favourites in the run-in is can't remember his name. Is the bloke who plays Jaime Lannister?
Oh yeah.
Can't remember his name.
Nikolai or something.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, so he's favourite. And so some people were talking about Hugh Jackman, but I can't see that. But yeah, mate, it's such a good game. Honestly, now's the perfect time to play it. It's a decent sized campaign. You should get it, 100%.
I might do that today, actually.
I think you'd love it. I really think you'd love it.
Fair enough. Is it scary?
Not too scary. It's more.
Oh, good.
I mean, obviously, it's got a fear factor in it, but it's more about. It's very heavily story driven.
It sounds like a bit like Dying Light, to be honest.
It's probably not as intense as Dying Light. I mean, it's a third person. It's not even a shooter. It's kind of.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever played like the Tomb Raider remakes or Uncharted?
No, but I've seen people play them.
So it's a similar look to that.
Okay.
Like third person. It's made by Naughty Dog, so it's got pretty good graphics. But honestly, mate, just for the story alone and the gameplay, it's so good.
I think I'll pick that up then, mate.
Definitely, 100%. I finished it 3 times. It's that good.
That sounds like me on Skyrim. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a load of game delays now, by the looks of it, because of production stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm just glad Resident Evil 3 come out in time. So I'm getting that next week. So that's arriving next week. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So Dying Light 2, though. Sorry, that's the one you mentioned. Yeah, I've never really played Dying Light.
I think you'd like it.
Some of the free running, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's a very small part of it. It's like it's almost like you're trying to recover. Like it's similar in a way. Like there are other agencies around, and there's piracy and stuff. But the zombie element really is like heavily. I think it's. But from what you just told me, it's definitely more heavily embedded in Dying Light. And at night, you can't go out at night unless you want to die, basically, because there's just zombies everywhere. But it's really good. Like the free running element and all that is pretty good as well. You can
It's
drive.
very fast paced, isn't it?
It is, but there's like if you was to watch someone play it, you think to yourself, "Oh, it's just a free running game with zombies." But the story's actually really, really good as well, and you have to make gear out of like scraps and scavenging and stuff. I don't know, it's good. It's good enough for them to make a sequel anyway. But
Oh, nice.
yeah, no, it's alright.
It looks good. It looks good for sure.
Right, mate. So all the way back in episode 1 and 2, you were doing a game called Keyword Countdown, and we're bringing it back. All right.
Oh, nice. Looking forward to it.
So, I've got five films, and each of them has keywords related to it, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna ask you these. Sorry, I'm gonna fucking ask you these.
It's the best explanation
keywords.
I've ever heard.
How do you explain this? Fucking.
So basically, you've got 5 films, and you've got 5 keywords for each film.
Yeah.
And you're going to read them to me one keyword at a time, and I have to
Sorted.
guess what the film is.
There you go. Explanation done. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
Well done.
Keyword Countdown, episode 8. Here we go. All right.
Boom.
Keyword Countdown. Right. First one. Non-linear timeline. Right, so I'm
Inception.
going to quickly, before we start, I'm going to give you 3 guesses for each one. All right?
Okay, I like that.
Okay. So non-linear timeline.
Inception.
No. All right. I'll give you the
Lord of the
next.
Rings?
No. I'll give you the next
Go on.
keyword or phrase. Dance contest.
Dance contest.
So you've had one guess in, what do you say, Inception? Right, okay. Drug
Dance
overdose.
contest. Oh, Pulp Fiction.
Correct. That was the easy one. All right.
Okay, alright.
All right.
That's some good clues there.
All right. Second one. Oh, so the other words on that one were bondage and sex slave. All right.
Gonna get the gimp.
Marcellus Wallace. Right. Number 2. Board game.
Jumanji.
Fuck! Oh my god. That was straight in there. Oh my god.
What's the other ones for that?
It was trapped in game, adventure, jungle, and drumbeat. Oh,
Nice.
I can't believe you got that. Right, hold on. Alright. Bloody hell. Okay, that's number 2 then.
Okay.
Right. This one's quite topical.
Topical, right, okay.
Post-apocalypse.
Book of Eli.
No.
Contagion.
No. You got one more guess, by the way.
Okay, right.
New York City. Virus. There's 2 more keywords I can give you. Alright?
So I've only got one more guess.
Yeah.
Okay, alright. I need the other keywords in. Or at least one more.
Human-animal relationship.
Oh, I know what this is. This is I Am Legend.
Yeah, nice one. The last one was Cancer Cure.
Yeah. Oh, nice. That film's really good, isn't it? I need to rewatch that, actually. And what time like the present? During an actual apocalypse.
Exactly. Number 4. So you got all 3 so far? Right. Female warrior. Female
Wonder Woman?
warrior. No. Bride. Japan. Extreme violence.
Oh, Kill Bill.
Yeah, okay. Alright. That was good. And then we got last one here, right? Last one. This one's going to be fucking easy, I think.
Extreme violence.
Oh, the last one, that was Katana. This game's shit, innit? I'm joking. This game is
good,
boring
mate.
as fuck, innit? Alright,
No,
okay,
it's good,
maybe.
it's good, it's good.
Alright, let's finish it off anyway. Right. Theme park.
Jurassic Park.
Right. We've been in that. Cheers, everyone. Cheers.
You made it so easy.
We're gonna bin that. I think. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of.
It's all right, mate. It's all right. It's your first one. It's your first one.
Just gonna cut my wrists. Oh, Jesus Christ! I was reading them out and I was bored. Fucking
really?
hell, that is a boring game.
Do you think?
Well, I think maybe you're doing better than me. I sounded like I was like, oh my god. Right,
It was
okay,
good,
anyway.
mate. It was good. What can I say? I'm just too good, I guess. So what were they say? They were
shit.
What did we have? We had Jumanji, Jurassic Park, Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill, and what was the first one?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, mate. What's done is done.
You wanted to have a little chat, didn't you, quickly about some of the cartoons that we grew up with?
It's been a good time to reflect on the good times. Like nostalgia-wise, do you get any nostalgia out of old cartoons?
100%. So there are quite a few that I remember that were favourites. I mean, if I just start reeling off a couple, I'd probably say Samurai Jack.
Jack to the Jack.
Yeah.
He's good. That was good, that one.
That was so good. That was so good. What else? Ed, Neddy. Ed, Neddy. Remember that? No? Just me?
No, I do. I always wonder whether the one of the Eds was a girl.
Oh, what, the one with the black hair?
Was it hair or was it a hat? I thought it was a hat.
Yeah.
Was it a girl?
I don't know. I know what you mean. I never knew, to be fair.
Ed,
I had
Ed,
the same
Neddy.
thoughts.
Is Ed a girl's name? Definitely not.
Edwina?
It's not even a... Is that a girl's name, though? Edwina. I mean, that's just a piss take.
Now.
But, I remember one episode in that cartoon where the dumb one, Ed...
What's his name? Ed?
Yeah. They all go around his house or something. It's like the first time they've ever been around his house. And he's like addicted to gravy. Right?
To gravy?
To gravy. And that girl / boy Ed ends up going into his basement and slips into a bathtub. And it sounds so stupid. It's probably not even that funny, but in my mind it is. She slips into like a bathtub, and she sort of has this like realization. She's like, "Oh, what is this? What the fuck?" Like, and she sort of screams out like, "It's a tub of gravy!" Like, honestly, as a kid, I'm still laughing at that. I thought it was so funny, that bit.
Fucking hell.
But yeah, that was a weird show. That was animated really weird. Like, it was like 2-year-olds scribbling. It's like,
wasn't every episode about like them trying to get everlasting gobstoppers or something?
Yeah. There is an episode of that where they get to the store and it's like there's 3 gobstoppers, and they try and get across the road, right? And then all of a sudden this like shepherd comes along with like thousands of turkeys, and like there's this like it's almost like Terminator 2 ending. It's like that bad. It's like he runs into he sort of dives in to try and get these 3 gobstoppers, and these chickens sort of like take him away in some sort of tide, and he's just sitting in the distance like, why?
Jesus Christ.
It
was funny, wasn't it?
I thought it was funny, yeah. As a kid, I thought it was funny.
Cartoon Network has some good stuff.
It had some weird stuff, mate. Courage the Cowardly Dog. Jesus Christ.
I was going to mention that. Courage the Cowardly Dog. That freaked the shit out of me as a kid.
It was really quite adult film.
Very dark, yeah, very dark.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, monsters trying to kill the old people all the time, and that dog was there saving them.
Literally, yeah. It was so
weird.
good. What else did I like? Johnny Bravo.
See, that would never be shown today. He was like a sex pest.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? Hey, Mama.
He sort of reminds me of Luke for some reason. Like the head shape.
Bloody hell.
Oh, I'm joking, Luke. But yeah, no. I used to get up at 6:30 every morning with my brother, and we'd watch. So the first half an hour would be a program called Zoids.
Yeah, I remember Zoids. Yeah,
and Zoids do you know what, even to this day there are bits in that where I think that's probably what started my anime sort of not obsession, but my interest in anime. It's like, because there was some really quality fights in that. I've always said if I became a movie director, I'd make a Zoids film. But I won't
Is there
be.
not
So
one?
no, I don't think so. But then there was Transformers Armada, then there was Pokemon.
Oh mate,
I mean,
Pokemon.
every day
shit.
they're down Sky One, and yeah, it was great. That was.
Yeah, there was some really good. Well, Dexter's Laboratory. Remember
Yeah,
that?
that was
No, DD.
I sort of thought it sounds so stupid to say this because it was like way too. I'm not even going to say it. It's that stupid. It's like don't even worry about it. It's not even. I was going to say it's so unrealistic, but it's
Was
a cartoon. Yeah, I know. It's such a weird thing to say. Like my kiddie mind was like not convinced. I don't know why. It never got into it.
Oh, fair enough.
I don't know why.
Enough. And the Powerpuff Girls, I actually really like that. I thought it was good back in the day. Powerpuff Girls was quality.
Yeah, I mean, it sort of was one of those things for women as well, wasn't it? To because cartoons were quite boyish, I think, as well.
Yeah. Well, I used to watch that with my sister. I remember. We used to watch that one together.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it was definitely one for more for. But then again, boys liked it as well because it was like monsters and stuff, and that Mojo Jojo was.
I am Mojo Jojo. You got him as well, the devil one, like transvestite devil.
I remember that. That was weird.
That was fucking weird.
Do you remember the first episode of Pokemon with the Spearows chasing Pikachu on the bike?
100%, yeah.
Yeah,
that is ingrained in my memory.
I think we should do a dedicated Pokemon episode
100%.
because we could talk about that for hours. I think
100%, yeah, definitely 100%. That was so good though, wasn't it?
I miss those times. Yeah.
Shit being an adult, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Today it is. Yeah. Kids nowadays having the time of their lives being at home. It's like the longest 6 weeks holiday they've ever had. Do you remember Biker Mice? Do you ever watch Biker Mice?
Yeah.
Or Street Sharks?
The Street Sharks was quality. Hammerhead. I remember that.
I'd like to see these people who actually made these cartoons. I reckon they're like cast out. Like I reckon they're castaways now because they made up these freaks.
I'm not just saying it. I don't think they make stuff like that anymore. Like everyone says, "Oh, back in my day," like we're not even that old, but I genuinely don't think that they make programs like that anymore.
No, I don't think they do.
Because I mean, you still hear about it. Like even with Pokemon, there's nothing original because they're still making Pokemon. They just come up with new shit ones. Like they're not. There's nothing original coming out. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing like that anymore.
No, I know what you mean.
Like that.
It's all. Even toys, like when I grew up, toys were like they were allowed sharp edges. They were allowed to be like quite robust and taste of shit and what and like
taste of shit.
Well, you know, like Play-Doh has like salt in it to make kids not eat it, stuff like that. You just remember like the rules on what kids' toys could be were quite relaxed, right?
Yeah,
but that's fine. Like they're kids' toys, they're gonna get battered. These things, right? But nowadays it's like, oh, we can't have a genderized fucking toy. It's like Action Man, Barbie. That must be so hard to produce now.
Action Man was
fucking
so good.
Snowflakes. But yeah, like anyway, yeah, they were.
Talking to kids' toys, I got a funny story quickly actually. So, do you remember Beyblades?
Oh yeah, I
Beyblade,
let it rip,
let it rip. Yeah, my god. Yeah, right. I remember I was really into it. And I've been watching the cartoon, funnily enough. I was like, oh, yeah, that's so cool. And I remember, right, the shop called The Entertainer in the town. Do you remember that? The Entertainer.
Oh, my God.
So I remember begging my mum to drive me to a Beyblade tournament. Oh, my God. Anyway, and I went there, and my Beyblade, like, I was getting ready for the match. Seriously, I noticed that the top, because it had different layers, didn't it? So I noticed that the top layer of the Beyblade was a tiny bit loose. Right. And I got called up to the ring to come next, and I was like, fuck. I've got to take it apart. Literally, I've got to take it apart and put it back together again. I was like, nah, it'll be fine. Anyway, so I've done the countdown. I pull this cord, right? I'm not joking. This bloke literally goes, let it rip. I rip this cord, God. Right? And this Beyblade comes flying off. It happens. I see it in slow motion. Right? And I must have been about 11, and the kid was younger than me. So he must have been about
4,
7 or 8. Like he was quite young. And I remember pulling this Beyblade cord and in slow motion seeing this Beyblade like leap out of my hand, fall into the ring, like, smash on impact, and then the top layer that was loose split off and smashed this kid in the face.
Oh my god!
And he started crying, and they called the game as a void, and he won because my Beyblade broke.
And you were much older than him.
Literally, like, nearly blinded a child. I mean, I was a child myself, but
Tournament for 5 to 6 year olds, and there's an 11-year-old there with a moustache.
no, there was people older than me there. I love you know.
Your mum watching?
Yeah, yeah, the parents.
I tell you what, I've got a similar story actually. But my brother, you know when like they used to have these like South African rip-offs, and they were like fucking 10 times the size of a normal Beyblade.
Yeah, I remember.
But my brother had like a little mini stadium. He had a stadium made of plastic.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing.
And they used to have those metal rings, right?
Yeah,
Like
I remember.
in the middle, which are fucking dangerous, like as fuck. Like, and he
They would
had
not
a
get away with them now.
Nah, not at all. But he had a similar experience, right? He had a friend who was he was held back a year in school, and he was autistic, and he was like a really nice guy, but he spoke obviously as they speak, and they both sort of as a shit let it rip in the Colosseum thing, right? And as they sort of collided, right? my brother's one just like exploded, right? And the metal ring, right, which is like, this one was like a defensive Beyblade, so it was like fucking compact metal, right? It sort of exploded in the ring. The metal disc flung out at a weird angle, and literally same sort of thing. He smashed this autistic kid in the face.
Oh my god!
And honestly, my brother told me the story of him. He just couldn't stop laughing. It was.
But they were dangerous.
Well, I always remember trying to stop one when it was like spinning and preparing my skin to rip off.
It cut your hand. I remember.
I'll tell you just a side story quickly. Right? So you know you're talking about you were a bit older and everyone there was like free in that Beyblade tournament. We were.
I didn't say that.
I at one time in my life when I started my full-time work, they used to do after school then fucking after work taekwondo lessons. Right?
Oh my, yeah, I remember you telling me about this.
And honestly, right, this was one of the most embarrassing moments of my life, right? So starting up taekwondo, got to get some belts in, right? Passed my belts. Everyone in the class, there was all adults, right? Was on like green belt, black belt, purple belt. I was like, I need to get. I wasn't
well done.
I wasn't into the
Good
old
job.
wearing the white suit thing. It threw me off, to be honest. I like some jogging bottoms. Anyway, had to go to St Albans to get a belt, right? Do my first grading, and there was me as a 20-year-old surrounded by 4-year-olds, right?
Oh my god!
Right,
So bad.
and the entire hall was packed out with parents, right? So there's me, dead in the middle of the room, surrounded by 4-year-olds in their white, whatever they call them, bloody, I don't know what their dresses are called,
Definitely thought you were special.
and surrounded by parents and my instructor, right, who also works with me. And honestly, Sam, it was like at the 5 basic moves of taekwondo, and I fucked them all up, right? I was doing a routine in the middle of the fucking
so
room,
embarrassed.
and honestly, Sam, it was so bad. It was so bad. Like, I did it all wrong. I did everything wrong.
Did you get a belt out of pity?
Yeah, I did. I did. I got a yellow belt out of pity. And honestly, mate, I can't explain to you how embarrassed I was. It's so stupid.
I think I would have, as soon as I gone out there and see all the kids, I don't think I could have gone on that stage. I'd have been like, nah, not happening. I'm going home.
Fucking hell.
Take me home, Mum.
But yeah, Beyblades, I used to love them, actually. I used to love them.
Yeah, they were good. They were really good.
During our time as gamers, as gaming, I asked you to come up with sort of what you think some of your most memorable bosses are in your time, gaming-wise.
Yeah.
So I thought we could each take turns doing one. So yeah, shoot. Some of your most memorable bosses.
You want me to go first then?
Yeah, go for it.
So it was hard to pick 5, but there's so many. I got a few that stand out in my brain. So the first one, I think in terms of just how iconic he is for horror. I think you probably know about this one. It's going to be Pyramid Head from Silent Hill 2.
You love him, mate.
I love him. I just think he looks awesome, but he looks terrifying as well. And I remember seeing that. I played that game as a kid, and I probably shouldn't. And the first time I saw him, so you're in a hotel room, and you haven't seen anyone, so there's no one around, and all of a sudden, you open this door, and there's this giant butcher with a giant Siegfried-style machete with a giant rusty pyramid on his head covered in blood. Just freaked the shit out of me, and I had nightmares about that. I actually had nightmares. But
how do you end up sort of getting rid of him then?
So right at the end, so you come across him a few times in the game, but you finally see him right at the end, and it turns out this is why I love the game as well. Silent Hill 2 is quite deep in storytelling, so it turns out that after you have a little boss fight with him at the end, it turns out that he was never actually real. He was a figment of the main character's imagination that he invented to punish himself for murdering his wife. It's fucking deep.
Jeez.
It's a really deep game. But yeah,
so yeah,
really, really good. But iconic.
I can see how you'd remember that, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a big old sort of cult following of Silent Hill online. Do you want people to bring that to the games again?
Man, that's so good. And I think we touched on it briefly last week with the PT demo. But yeah, you're right. Loads of people are hoping for the next Silent Hill, the next gen Silent Hill, because there hasn't been one on the PS4.
Yeah, it's been a while actually.
PS4. The only one we had was PT, and that got cancelled. And they were making Silent Hills, but yeah, they cancelled that after Kojima left, had to fall out. But yeah, it's my first one, Pyramid Head, just for
nice
story,
nice.
Just for the story.
I think we've got one the same. You know, when I was thinking about it this morning, I thought we've got one the same here. We must do, but we'll see as we go through. So, my first one is an old PS2 game. There was 4 games in total. They were called Onimusha.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Onimusha, right? And the last one was called Dawn of Dreams, right?
Dawn of Dreams, yeah, I remember that.
And the main guy is a boss. They're called the God of Light, and his name's Fortinbras. And basically, like, it's definitely like a more boss orientated game anyway. There's 2 discs, which back in the day was like a lot of like gaming.
I remember that, yeah.
But you go through these, like, it's literally like 6-7 rounds of bosses, and it's like, this thing's draining. This thing, like, you are really pushed for how to defeat these bosses. And right at the end, you kill this serpent god called Fortinbras, and he drops down, and you think to yourself, like, I've done it, I'm done, we've finished it, because you have this massive cutscene and like, but then right at the end, this guy in a white suit comes down like invisible stairs from heaven, and he literally in 2 seconds like cracks this bloke's neck, like like a external boss who's been like hanging around. He literally cracks his neck in 2 seconds, and it turns out he's like the main boss, this Fortinbras, like God of Light. And I just remember the feeling of like, you know when you fight a boss and you're exhausted, you're actually like, fucking hell, like this is tough, and your body's going, and it's like, that's what it felt like for me playing this game. It's like, this guy was really, I wouldn't say he's iconic, he's not like very well known, but Fortinbras, for those of you who know what Onimusha was, that was a good boss.
Yeah, I mean, I never finished it, I mean, because I was a stupid kid when I played it, but still am. But yeah, I never finished them. I had, what was the one with the French guy, Jean Reno?
So that was Onimusha 3.
That was a 3. So yeah, I think I had 1, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
But
they were good games.
They were good games. I don't think I finished one of them though, because I was a retard. But all right, nice one. So my second one, I thought you might have put this guy. I just put him. So the reason I chose him was from like a nostalgia point of view, and it's Lance from the Elite Four.
Oh yeah, we have got the same one.
Oh nice.
Yeah, he was my number. He's on the 3rd on the list. I got Lance as well.
Yeah. Honestly, like, it's not even hard. Like, we can beat him easily because we're Pokemon Masters, you know.
We are the Elite Four.
But yeah, just for, I think the main part for me is, I think, the music.
Yeah.
The music, but also just what it signifies, like it's the last challenge in the game, and yeah. I mean, he's in obviously gold, crystal, silver, and then heart gold, soul silver. But I thought I had to throw him in there. I had to do him some justice.
It's sort of it throws up to 11, doesn't it? It's like you fight the elite.
In terms of how epic it is with the music, definitely.
Yeah. Because like it's one of those things where you'll be laying in bed, you're sort of like half asleep, and you've taken out the Elite Four, and the music kicks in. I was just like, yeah, like that's part of what gets me in these games. You know, it has to have like a really good music behind it. Like everything you're like, clearly you're just pressing the A button on the DS, like, but it's like you're still like fighting, and it's just like, wow, this is. I'll tell you a funny story, not a funny story, but a weird story, right? So my first ever serious girlfriend, right? She was from South Africa, right? I won't mention her name, obviously, but she, her parents, right? They were like they were hard fuckers, right? And her dad, right? He'd been shot, stabbed, right? He was built like a brick shithouse, right? And there's me, a little 16-year-old, trying to get, in a relationship with this girl. And I'm like nervous. I wasn't allowed upstairs in their house and that sort of stuff. It was that sort of environment, right? Just a bit paranoid, whatever. And I was just like, well, I'm not going to fuck around with this, this person. He's like, he could kill me, this guy.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. Like, this guy's been through it, and it's just like, bloody hell, right? So there's me, right, trying to get involved, and as you do when you're sort of building up relationships, you're sort of getting to know people, right? Anyway, so nothing in common whatsoever, right? Nothing, right? I can't talk about wars. I can't talk about being stabbed. I can't talk about being shot. I'm just like a little nerdy boy, like, hello, like, it's like, honestly, it was bad, right? Anyway, we're watching TV in the living room, and I look over, and he's playing a DS, right? This hard bloke playing a DS, and he's playing Pokemon.
Really?
He's playing Pokemon, yeah. And he's like, and literally, I said to, because I think he got a bit like, he was like really defensive about it at first. He was like, like they make these games. I can't do a South African accent, so I'm not even going to try. But he was like, they make these games for kids, but in reality, that's fucking Australian, sorry. But it's like, but they're for adults. They're for adults, They really get you involved. And I was like, it just threw me off. I was like, how's this bloke into Pokemon? Like, this bloke's into Pokemon. This massive bloke.
What Pokemon was he playing?
I think it was like not Soulstorm, fucking Soul Silver.
Soul Silver.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I was just like,
that's pretty funny.
What a weird way into some, like, there's common ground between some skinny 16-year-old and a hard ex-army South African. Yeah.
What's after that? Did you get to know him then?
Not really. not really, to be honest. It was just it didn't last. It actually lasted something like 6 months anyway. So, and it was a long 6 months. It wasn't very good.
But he terrified you.
They all did in the end.
Moving on.
Yeah, we'll leave it there. So my number 2, probably no surprise to people who have listened to these podcasts, it's Zeus from God of War.
Nice.
Again, literally for the reason we just described, like the music behind it, like the God of War theme. I actually listened to it. It's sad, but I listened to the theme tune quite a bit, like, and it's like 3 games of build up. It's like the same feeling when the Avengers were like fighting Thanos. It's like there's a build up. It's like, bloody hell, it's got to this point. We're here now. But for me, like, there's a lot of personal interest as well in mythology. I grew up reading books from the library and all that sort of stuff, and this for me was like, this was quality. This was like the culmination of free games. Like, it's like an interesting topic for myself, and I was just like, the music was quality. Kratos is a good character. I was just like, this is a really good revenge story. Nice. And it's like,
I've seen that boss fight on YouTube.
I've
seen it, and it looked pretty good.
You should play them on PS4.
Yeah, they are on the list.
No, they're quality. So Zeus at my number 2.
The third for me. So, Christmas time, just gone. 2019, I managed to get my hands on Breath of the Wild, and that is the first Zelda game I've ever played. I thought, right, I've just got a Switch. It's supposed to be the best game on the Switch. I've got to check it out. Started playing Breath of the Wild, and after 5 minutes in that game, I knew it was going to be one of my favourites. It's just so good, mate. Everything about it. But the bit that stands out for me is Ganon at the end. I know Ganon's in every single Zelda game, pretty much, in different forms, but the Ganon fight in Breath of the Wild, so there's 2 stages to it. It took me about 45 minutes to an hour to try and do, and I died several times. Actually, it probably took me much longer than that. But you're literally, on the final stages of fighting Ganon, you're on horseback in the middle of a giant grass plains with like a sunset, epic music playing, volcano going off in the background. You're on horseback with a bow and arrow trying to take down like a giant Ganon beast who's like the size of a fucking planet. You're just launching like these arrows at him. It just looks so good, and he's fucking epic in that game as well. But Ganon, yeah, and it's made me want to go back and play some of the previous Breath of the Wild games as well.
I've never played
some of the previous Zelda games. Sorry, have you not? Not at all.
No, I'm like you. I've never played one, but I heard a lot of stuff growing up, like Twilight Princess and Ocarina of Time.
Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask.
They're all really, really good, apparently. So
yeah. I mean, it's definitely made me want to go back and check out the previous ones.
My number 4 is from a bit of like a niche game, I suppose. It was on PS2 called Shadow of Rome.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that. That was well gory.
It was, and it was like you went up in the ranks in the Colosseum, whilst your mate outside of the Colosseum was learning about why you were framed and stuff. And there's this whole backstory about the assassination of the Emperor of Rome, which in history is probably the most like well-known assassination of anyone, you know. But yeah, like, and I'll be honest, I legitimately didn't complete the game, but I used cheats when I got stuck.
It was hard. I remember it being really hard.
Yeah, it was. And towards the end, right, even with cheats, right, the main boss called Antonius, who's like the guy who wanted to become emperor, he sort of has his own sort of separate faction of the Roman Empire, and like he sort of goes off trying to burn Rome. And when you first see him, he's like on the run, but when you see him on his fleet, like it starts off with his sword and it pans from right to left, going like across his sword and to his face, and it's like never ending. It's like Siegfried's sword, Sam. It's massive. It's just like over the top. You're fighting him, and it's just like I legitimately got to a point in the game where I thought, I actually can't do it anymore. It's so hard, but I was really into it. Finished the game obviously with cheats, whatever, but the boss itself was quality. So he's in there with that.
That was a good game. I actually had that on the PS2, and I remember it just being really tough, and I got so pissed off with it, I think I gave up. But I liked it.
Some of the Colosseum fights are really good.
Who have I got? I've got 2 left. So one of them, it's not from any particular game. It's, I mean, I guess from all the games that he's in, but it's going to be Dr. Neo Cortex.
Yeah, do you know what? I thought about having him. Yeah.
I mean, if I had to pick a favourite boss fight against him, it would probably be Crash Bandicoot 3, just because it's my favourite Crash game. But yeah, I think it's the best platforming game of all time. I mean, I love Spyro as well, but I think Crash Bandicoot is the god of the platforming era on the PlayStation. I think you'd disagree with that and say Spyro. I mean, I love them both equally. But
no, I mean, Crash Bandicoot is a really, really good game, mate, to be honest. Like, I was thinking about putting down that bloody the chase fight with like the massive polar bear, but it's not really a boss. But I did think about Crash, so Crash is definitely an iconic game.
Yeah, 100%. So Dr. Neo Cortex, I mean, I love a game with some good boss fights, and in all of them, there's so many bosses, like Tiny Tiger, Dingodile, Engin, and Trophy. Like, there's so many original characters in those games.
Ripperoo,
yeah, Pinstripe Pootaroo, Koala Kong, Papu Papu, been going forever.
Yeah, honestly, they're good, aren't they?
Yeah, there's some really good bosses in that game. It's just fun. It's just a fun game.
That's the other thing as well, and it's just
Easy.
easy to play.
Yeah, exactly. So Cortex, mate.
Okay. So I was going to put RAM in there, but I didn't.
That's so funny you say that. So my last one is General RAM.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Genuinely is. Only because, I mean, I don't think the boss fight is anything incredible. I just think because of what that symbolises. I mean, Gears of War was when I was at the peak of my like when I really got into gaming.
Yeah.
And I think it is quite badass, doesn't he, for a boss? Quite cool. Quite iconic for the Xbox.
There's a great entrance killing that Kim character.
Yeah. But General Ram. So it's quite funny that you had him as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think most people have him on his list. He's definitely like iconic. Like they brought out DLC afterwards for him, like years later, when you get to play as him or something.
I think he's pretty iconic, definitely.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%. He's iconic. Like,
I mean, Gears 1 and 2 back in the day was so good.
Well, that's when it was really good. Nowadays it's a bit generic, but it was very good back then. A bit more horror-esque as well. The music makes a difference, I think. Like Lance, like we said earlier, that gets me going even now.
No, so if you're listening, write in, because we want to hear your favourite bosses, don't we, Tom?
Yeah. Put your most memorable bosses in the comments. Follow us on Spotify and Instagram. So we're doing a blog, sort of lockdown blog to sort of pass some of the time. And we'll see what happens. I mean, we've got a few ideas in the pipeline as well, as for what to do for the next season of SNT.
100%.
So thanks for listening to episode 8 of SNT, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.